Game on, game on, it's gaming time. Excellent, game on, it's gaming time. Excellent.
Oh, hey! How are we? I'm assuming Zulu's pulling faces as well, we just can't see it.
He might be. Oh. Hey there, guys. How's it going? We good?
Yeah, pretty good for a
That's good.
interesting week.
Yes.
Hi, Mr. Charles Royal. Yeah, well, I mean, it is a really interesting week, isn't it? And I guess you're probably referring to the just about lockdown in every bloody state in the country now because of things. I'm not going to make this too political, but I mean, come on.
Except for
What
Victoria.
in the bullshit.
Yeah. Victoria's gone, we've done our share, the rest of you guys can do yours now.
Yeah. Bloody buggers.
Mm.
Anyway,
Yeah.
as you can see, a little bit different this week. Straighty,
Mm-hmm. Just a tad.
podcast.
That's it. You're right there, Natty. No lockdown in South Australia. Lucky buggers. But yes. But yeah, no, it's an interesting, like lots of people pivoting, working from home. Lots of people doing it hard at the moment as well. It's a tough thing to go through sometimes, especially when your livelihoods rely on getting out and about. But we try and persevere.
We do indeed. How are you going, Zulu?
Good. I've announced a lockdown over here in Brisbane, which I have noticed not at all on account of how I wasn't going outside and doing much anyway at the moment.
So, okay, I got a question for you guys, like straight off the bat, just thinking about lockdowns, right? Because I have a really bad habit of guilting myself into thinking that even though this is lockdown, I mean, and it's a bit different for me because technically I'm on radio holidays at the moment, so I've got a couple of weeks off, right? So it's lockdown and it's also radio holidays, so I should be taking it easy. But I do have a habit of guilting myself into I should be doing things and I should be working on things. And that extends across to like just taking some chill time to play video games as well, right? Like, so my question to you guys is, have you got any of the guilt sweats going into lockdown, or are you going to take it for every opportunity that it is and get stuck into some free time?
Well, for me, it's been busier than it ever has been because my day job is IT support, and it's it got ridiculously busy yesterday as everybody's trying to pivot to working from home, and I was flat out. I haven't had a chance to really sit down and think about too much.
That's good. I started playing Control when I was reviewing the SteelSeries mouse not long ago, and sort of figured, hey, since I now have an official reason to not do much besides play video games, I'm going to play Control when I can. So, you know, when I'm not working on a few other things, I've been sort of jumping into that and playing it, going, I remember how good a game this is. I'm glad to revisit it.
Can you walk us through Control, please, mate, for people who've never played the game before?
You're missing out. It's a third-person game from Remedy. It's basically you play this woman with sort of supernatural abilities who ends up in an X-Files-like agency looking for her missing brother, and like an extra-dimensional creature has taken over the agency, and it's up to you to basically rescue everybody inside and work out what the hell is going on. It is really, really good.
Who's it by?
It's Remedy.
It's on Games Pass, I think.
I got mine on Epic when it came out, but if it's on Game Pass and you don't have it, then you've got rocks in your head.
Mate, I mean, Game Pass, can we just like bow our heads to Game Pass for the time being, please? Because I was just browsing Game Pass earlier today and just going, I'm at the stage with Game Pass where I do the same thing like I do with Netflix, the sheer volume of stuff that's there, I get to the stage where I'm like, oh, I don't know what to pick. It's too hard. And I leave and I don't end up downloading anything. And it's like Netflix when I'm flicking through trying to watch something. And I'm like, oh, I want to watch that, but I want to watch that. But if I watch that, it means I won't be watching that. And so I don't end up watching anything either.
You always got to make time to watch stuff. Like there's a new Rick and Morty. Series 5 is now airing on Netflix.
Rick and Morty.
Yeah.
It gets a bit like that. You get spoilt for choice, so you go and what should I play? I don't know what to play.
You want Rick and Morty?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Who doesn't?
So do you guys watch Solar Opposites then?
Yes.
Actually,
It's
on
by the
my
same
list.
crew, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is by the same bunch of people.
It's also by the same guy also did the game Trover Saves the Universe. They're all obviously connected in this weird way that they won't openly acknowledge, but you can tell there's definitely influences there.
I think I like Solar Opposites more than I like Rick and Morty.
They're both really good in different ways, I think. I like them both. I love the Solar Opposites episodes where they cut away from Corvo and everyone and just go to what's happening on the wall.
Yeah, that is good. Yeah, that is good. Hey, Mackham's here. Hello, Mackham. How you going, you hot mess? Natty, you guys aren't in lockdown in Adelaide, are you? I'm just going to ask that.
Yet.
Yet. 5 cases, but all from the same house? Is that our understanding? Aw, thanks for the subscription, Simmy.
38 months. Jeez.
38 months, man. That's like... Every time I see like a Simmy or a Gamma or a Styx, it gives me an understanding of just how long we've been running a Twitch channel. Because it's, I mean, 38 months is like over 3 years now. 3 years and 2 months. Oh, Drop Bear, thanks for the subscription, man. 10 months in a row, you're beauty. What have we seen around the wires? What's hitting us in the face at the moment in terms of news?
Well, for me, the big one is I saw today on Twitter, BioWare Austin has announced that they're doing a presentation for the 10th year anniversary of the Old Republic MMO. So that's exciting for me. Probably for the other 10 people in Australia that still play it as well.
You dropped out there.
What's got your news wires going at the moment?
Oh, there's a bunch of sort of mildly interesting, a bunch of laptops released, new hardware. Nothing that's ultra exciting though. It's pretty good timing wise, and the new Burning Crusade re-release for World of Warcraft has come out, so I'm looking forward to getting into that over the holidays too. One of those things I missed the first time around because I had a job and things to do, and then later on the whole series advanced so much there was no point in trying to get back into it. But then when I've sort of rebooted, I'm going, I might actually be able to get into this again now and not be wandering around going, why is everyone else level 300 with like a flying dragon?
Well, you know what's caught my eye? This fun fact on Twitter by a community director for Aggro Crab Games by the name of Lulu Boo. And the tweet is it's quite interesting. It's a picture of an arse, but at polygon level. And the description is, fun fact, Lady Dimitrescu's ass has more polygons than the entirety of Resident Evil 1. So, in terms of news, I think that's right up there.
What is it with the entire internet being horny for 9-foot-high vampire MILFs?
Why not?
Not to kink shame anyone, but honestly, it's more the vampire thing that worries me than the MILF thing, to be honest.
Is it?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Because I've been watching a bit of Castlevania lately, and I'm like, I'm kind of into it.
That's more because, technically a vampire's dead or undead. I mean, we could argue about that all day, but it's like, wouldn't you rather I don't know, be interested in a live person. But then we are talking about video games. So.
I'm absolutely 100% interested in live people. But I guess, to a degree, sure, they're not live, but they're still physical. Like, there's still something to hold on to.
I didn't mean like the idea of a video game character, that or cartoons, that's fine. I just mean like going, this person is actually not alive. I'm like, this raises some ethical quandaries.
Interesting.
Is it technically necrophilia?
Well, I mean, that argument could be made. I wasn't going to go down that road on a family-friendly show, but since you've broken that door open with the breaching sledgehammer,
See, big boot, middle of the door, bang, we're there.
Yeah.
He's really into polygons, apparently. He was a real polygon person.
But then you got to remember, back in the early 2000s, everything was polygons. If you go back and look at a video game from like 2004. Back at the time, it's like, wow, this is so amazing. How can graphics possibly get any better? And you look at it now and go, oh, this is just shameful. It's like it was all made out of cardboard cutouts by toddlers.
Even further back than that, like 1996, 97. Like, I still remember so clearly seeing Super Mario 64 for the first time at a mate's house, and his dad was in another room playing it on the 64. And I wandered past, and I was like, what's that? He's like, oh, that's Dad's new video game. I'm like, okay, do you want to have a look? Yeah, sure. This is the Nintendo 64. And he gave me the pad and said, here you go, have a crack at it. And I was like, oh my God, he's standing upright and he's running around in 360-degree motion. What the hell is this? Even just the amount of time that I would spend at the start screen playing with his face.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, even if you look at, say, Doom from 1993, which, just to make us all feel really old, is before a lot of the people even watching or listening to this were born. But you look at the graphics in that, and at the time, people were like, wow, I'm going to have to upgrade my 386 so it can run this. And you look at it now, and your random no-brand, mobile phone can run the game beautifully, and it's just crazy how far the technology's come.
I do like the benchmark of like new appliances, whereas can it run Doom? So like they get a little Game & Watch style thing, and all of a sudden, can it run Doom? Did I see someone loaded it onto like a Roomba or something and was playing it on? Like, it was some weird stuff. And I love it.
I saw someone got Crysis running just on the VRAM on a memory card, like on a graphics card at some point too.
And didn't burn anything down?
No, I mean, if you look at an RTX 3090, that thing's got more RAM in it, like just video RAM, than pretty much every computer I've owned prior to the one I've got now combined.
It's one for you. So this was September 11 last year.
Yeah.
I remember seeing this one, a bloke who programmed Doom on a pregnancy test.
Wow.
was running Doom on a pregnancy test.
That's crazy.
Oh, man. Insane. And it just looks like you wouldn't think that Doom could get any more pixelated, but it is. It's just white and black.
Yeah.
But it's definitely Doom. I mean, that's extraordinary. And I mean, two things run through my head when I see something like that. And one of them is, that is extraordinary. Well done, you, sir. The other one is, who picks up a pregnancy test and thinks, I'm going to run Doom on this? Like, that's another level of thinking.
Facebook's always showing me all these really cool like marble runs and like radio controlled car race tracks and stuff. And I go, this stuff's awesome. But who thinks I'm going to spend a good chunk of my day planning this out and then putting it together and then videoing it and then sticking it on the YouTube for internet likes? It's like that. I'm glad they do, but you think, couldn't you be doing something more productive with your time? Surely.
But it's like the speed. I go like speed running, and I'll go and watch that till the cows come home. And I think there was one, I can't remember if it was last GDQ or the GDQ before. One of the submissions for the run that got in was Super Punch-Out on the Super Nintendo, 2 players, 1 controller, so they were both doing half of the controller each, blindfolded.
Wow.
Because Super Punch Out's not hard enough on its own. You got to add extra shit in to make it harder.
Roxy, AU. And it's Huzzy who's joined the chat as well. Lovely to see us. Great to have you here.
Greetings. Hello.
Greetings. Did I see that Xbox Cloud Gaming is now up and going? iOS and Windows 10?
I did see that.
Yeah.
Sorry, you go, Zulu.
I was going to say, I've been playing around with it in preview, and I know I haven't got the camera on, so you can't see me doing the bunny ears, but I'm doing the bunny ears. It's been in preview/beta for a while, and it works.
Yeah, we've had you as well, Straight. We were mucking around in preview as well. And yeah, like for it to work as well as it has been working in preview, says a lot about what we're probably going to experience once it's properly up and going.
I still have some concerns it's going to end up being like biodiesel. One of those things that's a fantastic idea when only a few people are doing it, but as soon as everybody gets in on it, the demand's going to outstrip supply, and it's all going to turn to, well, I was going to say custard, but it's not going to be fun.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean legitimately, literally biodiesel? Right. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So, I
thought it was. Sorry, I thought it was like some like great name for some sort of piece of tech.
No. Like, just for the folks playing along at home, there are sort of people out there who can convert their diesel cars to run on like old fish and chip shop oil and stuff, and grease trap and things. Yeah. And it sounds fantastic when you go, hey, cool, I can run my diesel powered car for practically nothing. But the minute everybody gets in on it, it suddenly stops being so attractive, and suddenly the waste and the diesel, the biodiesel they're practically giving away, suddenly becomes worth a lot more, and it all goes.
Sorry, Straight. I interrupted you before. What were you going to say?
I was just going to say that I did a bit of testing with xCloud, and I'm with Zulu. It's a pretty solid bit of tech, and it works well. The lag was non-existent for me. I always remember I tried out Halo on it, and I sucked about as much as I normally sucked at Halo multiplayer, so I guess that's a win.
Excuse me.
But yeah, it was it's a good product, but like you say, once you get a lot of people in on it, it's going to be interesting to see if they ramp up the because I think they're probably using their own Azure data centers anyway to run it, and it's not as if there's not enough of those flying around, so I'm sure that there'll be enough capacity for it.
Yeah. I mean, they're running Azure data centers, and they've got their own AI working involved somewhere along the line. It's all very exciting. It's interesting when we get the games press releases, and they say, coming this summer to PC, Xbox One, Xbox Series X, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, and Google Stadia, and I go, oh look, it's a system that doesn't exist in Australia and probably never will.
It's probably likely to still be existing over in the States as well.
Oh yeah, it's just funny when you see it coming from local PR people. It's like, guys, we both know that this isn't a thing, and it's never going to be a thing.
Hello to Noth913L. Welcome. G'day. G'day, buddy. G'day. Are you from another country saying g'day because you know that's what Australians say, or are you saying g'day because you're Australian? Would love to know. Hey, we got a question here from Cap Navari, who's one of our GOA subscribers. And I'm going to throw it your way, you guys.
He got one in. He got one in this week. He was.
It was one from last week, but he said he's just dropped a thing in GOA subs in our Discord at the moment, going, "Hey, don't forget my one from last week." But the question is, in my opinion, there seems to be more and more remaking of games, consoles, phones. So what's been overdone? Are you sick of 3 years of 2K sport games being the same game? Are you tired of seeing phones that all look the same, games being remade, etc., etc.?
It's an interesting one. Look, in terms of tech, I've always been one to wait a while and upgrade to the latest and greatest. So my phone's a couple of years old. I'll probably hang on to it for another couple of years anyway, and then I'll go splash like $1,000 on it, buying a new phone, and then it'll last me another few years anyway. And like with computers as well, every few years I might have a go at upgrading it, and then every once in a while just bust out the money. But for what I do on computers, even with the streaming stuff I do on computers, like I don't need the 3090s and stuff like that, I honestly can't justify dropping 15, 17, $2,000 on something that I'm probably going to have to replace in a while anyway.
It's interesting, especially in the. I guess from my end with the tech stuff, laptops are a challenge because once you get, like, I guess what you call a baseline of laptop tech, they've all got the same stuff in it. So right now, pretty much all the laptops I'm being offered a review have got an i9, they've got a 32 gig of RAM and an RTX 3080. So they're all going to be amazing for whatever game you want to play. So it really comes down to how is the laptop to use, what's the battery life like, but it's sort of at the point where this stuff costs so much, it's not going to be bad anyway. So it gets challenging going, oh, look, I've got, a dozen laptops, which are all under the bonnet more or less the same, and it's going to be like that for 6 months until until AMD decide they're going to do them. Then I'll get the same systems, but with an AMD chipset instead of an Intel one.
And for most people, they grab it and, like, especially when you're talking about laptops and stuff, they'll do some word processing, maybe spreadsheets, and watch Netflix. And, like, you don't need a super U-Butte computer to do that.
I mean, it depends what you're doing, but like I have like a collection of games that I run to get a sample across things. Control's one of them because it's great with the ray tracing. But we're at the point where everything on the market now can run everything super maxed out. So if you get, again, a system with a 3080 and i9 processor, 32 gig of RAM, and a 144 hertz refresh, you can play literally anything you like, including Cyberpunk, just all the settings cranked up to max and go nuts. And assuming you don't go too far from a PowerPoint, a lot of the stuff like battery life becomes completely irrelevant.
If I'm thinking of things like consoles, so I'll split this down into the three. So you said games, consoles, and phones. If I'm thinking things like consoles, I'm kind of like, along that line of thought that you've mentioned, Zulu, is that, both of them, like the difference that's splitting them now is what exclusives they have. So for me, that's where my sort of choice sits. And like, I don't think we'll ever get to a stage where we'll think, like seeing a PlayStation 6 or the next, Series X or whatever it happens to be means that it's too much, unless they literally do. What I don't want to see is I don't want them to release another 0.5. Like they have in the last generation. Like, just get to the next thing, right? So I want to see that instead of seeing a 0.5, because I think a 0.5 is a waste of time and it's a waste of money.
Look, just to put that in context, this is a good point. When I was at CES in 2019, just before COVID hit, I went to a Walmart there. I assume you all know Walmart. It was a giant store. And in their tech section, they had a cabinet full of actual, new shrink-wrapped PlayStation 3 games. Not PS4, not, PS5, actual PlayStation 3. I mean, that system's been obsolete for years. And they're still making games for all the people who are like, you know what, this is fine. I don't need this newfangled PlayStation 4 or PlayStation 4 Pro. And there'll still be heaps of them now going, my PlayStation 3 works just fine.
So I agree with that. I think there's going to be a market for all of them, obviously. But I mean, at some point, if you want to keep up with... the latest and greatest, you're going to have to upgrade your console at some point anyway, aren't you? That's just inevitable. But as far as remaking of games, I'm a big fan of games being remade. Huge fan. Especially if they take it down the way that they did Final Fantasy VII Remake. And because what they did there, for people who haven't played it, is, they've picked one chapter of the original story and they've expanded it beyond anything that we felt we might have ever have seen. So you've got so much story just inside that single chapter. And if you're somebody who, like, one of my very first memories of PlayStation was playing Final Fantasy VII. Like, I used to just want to rush home to sit in front of the telly and just get stuck back into it. And, when you're opening it for the first time, you're like, 4 CDs? Oh my God, there's so much here. I'm really excited you know, to see things like that remade, because instantly I get that nostalgic kick. I love that. It's a game that I loved, and it's still relevant to this very day, which I found really awesome when I played the remake. But also, you know, why not? Like, if we've got great stories and great games that we've had that can still be relevant, but we actually get to play them 20 years down the track with better graphics and a few other things added in them as well, then I'm all for it. I am 100%. Why not? Go for it.
Yeah. And like Blue
Hey,
Streaks...
Grumpy!
Oh, I was just about to say, like...
I jumped into the Twitch and heard you guys talking about PS3, and I was going to say that I'm going to play my PS3 tonight. So the PS3 is well and truly not dead.
Well, there we go.
So yeah.
Is it...
So hang on a sec, mate. What are you playing tonight on the PS3?
Well, yeah, funny. Yeah, it's a funny thing, isn't it? I was going to play Sly Cooper 3 because I have not finished it, and I really want to play a platformer, and I really enjoy the Sly Cooper games. So I played through the first two, probably when the PS3 was just about out the door, and I played about half of the third one, and I was like, I really enjoyed it, but obviously the PS4 had just come out, so I jumped ship, but I'd never gone back. And you know, nowadays we don't need a PS4 if you've got a PS5, so I plugged the PS3 back in and turned it on and saw Sly Cooper there, and I'm like, well, I may as well finish this off. So that's the plan.
What are these scores? Like, this is insane. Like, it's at least 8s across the board for every Sly Cooper that was released. Like, Metacritics are above 75 and 80. Eurogamer, except for Thieves in Time, is above 8 out of 10. And the average sort of sits around about 8 for all of them. This is the first time I'd heard of these games. First time I've heard of them.
So they're developed by Sucker Punch, who made the infamous games, and obviously most recently Ghost of Tsushima. So they made the first 3, so not Thieves in Time, but Thieves in Time I've heard still pretty decent as well.
The only little bit I played of Sly Cooper was I think I sat in a demo, like back when stores used to have the demo units up the front, and I played that for a bit, and it was very entertaining, action adventure type sort of game. You know, I really quite liked it, and I feel like there's a whole market there. Like, well, now that we're talking about remakes and whatnot, where like I love Jak and Daxter on the PlayStation 2.
Yeah, me as well.
I would love to see those games make a comeback as well. Although I vaguely remember, I can't remember if it was a rumor or something got announced about Jak, maybe, but yeah. But yeah, I'd love to see them again.
Yeah, so with Jak and Daxter, I think there was a rumor that they were going to go back to it, I think. And they had like all this key art and not key art, just like development material and such come out to the point where they actually released the PS4 case with the art for Jak 4 and sold it or something. I think it was part of a collector's edition with the re-releases of the first 3 on PS4. So yeah, there's some Jak 4 art out there, but I don't know if they'll ever go back to it, unfortunately.
I just loved how after the precursor Legacy, which was the first Jak and Daxter game, and then that game finished and it was just this nice sort of chill platformer, then all of a sudden you're in this dystopian future, and like it just took a hard left and became like a run and gun sort of game, but it was still so much fun.
Blue Streak saying that there's actually a heap of Sly Cooper Easter eggs in Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I think even in the infamous games, they had like the Sly logo, you know, plastered all around the cities in those games as well. Haven't played Ghost of Tsushima though yet. That's one of the games I'm ashamed to have not played. Yeah, I know. I don't know how.
Get on it.
It's definitely my cup of tea as well, which is yeah, interesting why I haven't gotten to it yet.
Really good.
Currently playing through Ratfield.
It's like Assassin's Creed in feudal Japan.
So it's okay. So Sly Cooper Easter egg. It's called the Cooper Clan Cosplayer Trophy in Ghost of Tsushima. And it's dressing up like Sly Cooper. So
Lovely.
yeah, dress up as a legendary thief. You get to emulate his blue and gold style with a specific costume combination. And if you knock it over, then you get the trophy. There you go.
Given I'm addicted to trophies, it's probably information worth knowing.
Gosaku's armor, the Ocean's Guardian die, obviously for the blue and the gold, the Crooked Karma headband, the Sly Tanuki sword kit, and you throw them all together and bang, you unlock the trophy. There you go. Wow.
Nice.
Wow.
Hang on. I do have sounds on my soundboard. I actually fixed them up, but none that suit that. I've got a ta-da.
Do it.
Go on.
There we go. I did it, but you guys can't hear it because it's, it doesn't go through Discord.
Hey, for those of you in chat who are like, who's this rando that's just popped into
Wow.
the show tonight? This is our new writer to the team, by the way, Grumpy Goron.
G'day, everyone.
So yeah, hello to everyone and welcome, brother. Just quickly, do you want to chime in on that question from Captain Avari around what you think about remakes? Games, consoles, phones, what's been overdone? What do you think?
I mean, I do enjoy. I'm definitely a stickler for the odd remake or two, but I do feel like we are on a cycle now where they are a bit too apparent, to the point where you can ask yourself at times, where are the new ideas? Obviously, through the the multitude of indie games we get every year, that you're still getting that creative, that flair, that new stuff every couple of years. But I think there's one that really irks me that has been rumored for a while now, which is a Last of Us 1 remake, which is obviously that game came out almost like what? How long? Was it 2014? 2013? I think it was 2013, I think, when the PS3 came out. No, when the PS4 was just about to come out. So it's only been about 8 years, right? I mean, is that too soon, given that there was already a remaster for the PS4? Do we need to remake it 8 years on, or do we wait a little bit longer? Like, stuff like that is the stuff I sort of question. Like, would that make more sense another 5-10 years from now as opposed to now?
Or maybe never.
I mean, that's an option. That's an option too.
I actually like the first Last of Us. I just think it's one of those games that is almost like Casablanca in some sense. They got it right the first time. There's nothing else to do. Just leave it alone.
Yeah, I was definitely a The Walking Dead Telltale fan over The Last of Us that year. But I mean, remakes overall, like I play numerous every year. Like I played the Alex Kidd remake the other day, which is obviously a remake they very well needed, given that it had been 30 years since that had come out. Super Mario Sunshine, I've been playing through that because that was a game I played like almost 20 years ago now. That was a very important thing to me. But yeah, I mean, to answer the question, I think remakes are definitely a good thing that we need. I think it's just we don't need to go too heavy on them.
Let's consider where we go back to 8 years ago, right? In terms of the cycle, I suppose maybe it sits around the tech cycle. There is enough of a jump from the original PS4 to what we now have in the PS5 to justify, I think, a remake of something from 8 years ago.
Yeah, and I mean, I see that point as well, but I guess the thing that comes from it is what are you losing out on, new idea wise, to allow a current idea to be remade?
It's a hot potato.
It is.
What's the last new idea you guys reckon you've played? Like a game where you've gone, okay, genuine new idea here, genuine brand new mechanic that I've never experienced before. Oh, I feel like we need some thinking music because that's a tough question. It is a tough question. And I invite chat to join in as well. They're more than welcome to answer this particular question.
Just been trying to think of what I've been playing recently. Like I did a preview copy of Death's Door and been playing a bit of Phantom Abyss, but both of those, like, they're good games, but they're still sort of innovations rather than big new things.
I'm talking about something big and new. The bloody it's you know, that may very well be the answer. Like the mere fact that you cannot answer that question quick enough might be the answer, that it's been quite some time.
I guess maybe for me it's going to be something like flight sims in VR, because VR is still fairly niche, but it's only since like Oculus came about that it got really big, and I'm just thinking of playing stuff like Microsoft Flight Sim and Star Wars Squadrons. I love playing that, and just being able to look up and around at stuff. That's sort of a new thing. Making that affordable in the home is a big thing for me. But yeah, other than that, you're going back a few generations to work out something that was revolutionary, I think.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree with you on the VR thing. I mean, for me, it was probably Blood and Truth on the PSVR, which was like the first game I played that actually felt like VR was an integral part of the experience and not just let's port an existing game to it. You know, there's a section where you're walking through an art gallery that does all these really cool things with perspective and how you're looking at things, and it only works in VR, and it works brilliantly. And when you're playing the game, you actually feel like you're in, like, you know, an action movie. It's probably the last game I went, this feels like something totally new, and it's done properly.
So maybe then innovation doesn't actually exist in game, it exists in tech. A new way to experience things.
I mean, when you think about it, when you look at all the games, I mean, we basically have genres we divide them up into anyway. I mean, even something like Control, which I still think is a fantastic game with an incredible story, when you boil it down to its component parts, it is still ultimately a third-person, you know, shooter. The fact that it does amazing things with that doesn't change the fact that you can sum it up as a third-person shooter.
Yeah, I don't think you need to do anything revolutionary with something if you do it well. Like being the first to do something and be memorable for it. Like we were talking about Super Mario 64 early on, and the first 3D Mario game, because I'm like you, I was on a holiday in Europe when it came out, and I remember I was in Germany and I'm sitting here playing this game. I've got no clue what the text boxes are saying, but it's Mario. You run, you jump, you do your thing, and it was bloody amazing. You go back and try to play it now, and you'll just swear black and blue about that frickin' camera and how shit it is, because it's like you remember it because it was one of the first really good 3D games on a console. But you like Mario Odyssey now, which, you know, is increments over the years and years and years of platformers, of Mario platformers. But Odyssey was such a well polished game that it shits all over Mario 64. You know.
Worlds in I mean, we are talking about, you know, in terms of the camera. Now we're talking about like Super Mario 64 was a box this big, you know, that you were working with in the, which seemed huge at the time. Whereas like Odyssey, you're working in a, you know, in an open plan and box, bloody like this, and it's always, you know, where the sort of domain sort of stops. Then you've got like eons of space out there to get you those nice, big, wide, far, long distance camera angles and all that sort of stuff, and it allow you to do that. I reckon the biggest bucket of water to the face in terms of like playing a game where I went, oh shit, this is different, was probably that when I jumped from SNES to 64. I think. But just on that point, like GoldenEye 007,
Oh, yeah.
which to this day, I have the fondest memories of playing that game and playing it not only solo player, but staying up till all hours of the morning with mates and sleepovers and stuff, you know, in amongst watching WrestleMania and beating the shit out of each other. Right, and playing multiplayers and bazookas in the basement and, you know, golden gun and this, that, and the other. Giant head. And, like, I picked that thing up a couple of years back because I ended up winning it. I won it in one of these Facebook groups, right? And it was a really nice, like, boxed copy and everything. And I slotted it back into the Nintendo 64. And it played like a bucket of shit.
And
like,
yet...
It was terrible. Like,
Yeah.
using the
the C buttons to strafe and oh my god,
like,
yeah,
to be like, and like, you know, you all the way up and then all the way to the left and then all the way to the right, and you're just working in, you know, in an axis line basically. Yeah, God, it just felt so alien. It almost felt like how, and the answer is obvious, right? But it was like, how did we think that was peak gaming? You know what I mean? Like, how was that design peak gaming? But it was all that they had to work with.
It's interesting if we want to talk about games that, or concepts that, not so much for a remake, but haven't been done well for a long time. I'm currently playing Solasta Crown of the Magister, which is an old school RPG, like very heavily taking influence from Dungeons and Dragons, and it feels like a sort of modern update of Baldur's Gate, right down to when you need to make, you know, a throw for initiative or attack, it actually rolls dice on the screen for you.
oh wow,
So the actual game itself isn't like a new thing. You know, those sorts of games have been around for a long time. But I'm just playing it going, this feels like a small step forward, if that makes sense.
So this is the Kickstarter at the moment.
Well, it's a lie. I think it's on Game Pass. I've got a review code. It's one of those massive, 100-hour RPGs that I will review when I can get around to getting a spare 100 hours to play it. But it is very, very good. I had no expectations going in. I'm really enjoying it. It's just taking me back to the days of playing the OG Fallout, Baldur's Gate 2, Wasteland 2 and 3. I know Wasteland 3 was only a year or two ago, but even those games are harkening back to, sort of an era in the style of games people don't really make anymore.
This looks really interesting.
It's really good.
Solasta game.
I think they actually paid Wizards of the Coast for the D&D 5th edition license, but don't quote me on that. That's just me half remembering something I saw on the internet. And as we know, everything on the internet is completely true, especially if it's written by me.
6,000 fans raising a total of $270,000.
oh wow,
Yeah, for a game that's basically being made on a shoestring, it is really good. So if you've got access to it, it's well worth playing.
might have to have a look. Yeah, because I know Firestorm, one of the GOA community members, was talking about it last time we caught up. He was quite glowing about it, like you, Zulu.
Yeah, it has the production polish of a game done by a much bigger studio.
It does look good. I'm just looking at the video now. It's on Steam for 20% off at the moment.
Yeah.
So $44.
Yeah, but
And that's
honestly,
Australian.
I think it's worth it. I think it is worth the $44.
This looks quite good.
Be a good one if you've got 2 weeks of holidays or whatever, and looking for something to really get stuck into. The voice acting's a bit, it's not ideal, but the script writing's very good, and the combat works really well, and everything else is great.
It is a tactical RPG.
Yeah.
It's turn-based. Right, okay.
Yeah. It's very similar to when I saw turn-based tactical RPG. I thought, cool, it'll be like Shadowrun Returns, or it'll be like XCOM or Gears Tactics. But it's really more like Wasteland 2 and 3 or the OG Fallout games, which is still fantastic. I still love it.
A bit like maybe Knights of the Old Republic.
Never played it.
Ah, okay. I was going to say, because I wasn't a big PC gamer back in the day, so those games I don't have a reference for, and I thought I know Knights of the Old Republic very well, but it was turn based in that like the background dice rolls happened simultaneously, so you didn't have to worry about dodging. Which I always remember the first time I played Knights of the Old Republic, I tried to dodge, and I had a bad time because it just cancelled my attacks, and then I got hit, and I was in the shit.
But Fallout 3 tried to do something similar. Like, your skills were working behind the scenes to decide if you could hit someone or not. I'm going, hang on, I've got a first-person game. I'm pointing this gun at this, ghoul, and I'm firing, and I'm not hitting, even though they're like, 2 or 3 meters away. Because the RNG is like, no, you suck, you failed your attack roll. And it was very frustrating. So, but yeah, certainly in Solasta, you actually see the dice roll on the screen. It's actually a bit like in Disco Elysium, where you have to make a skill check and it rolls the dice on the screen. You go, oh yeah, cool, okay. But the system in Solasta is a lot more transparent. I just feel a lot more like I'm at a table playing Dungeons and Dragons, even though it's not a Dungeons and Dragons game, with like a proper DM and all that sort of stuff. Makes sense.
I can't believe that I'm about to say this, but I'm seriously considering buying Mario Golf Super Rush.
You know what you do? You buy Everybody's Golf and you play that instead.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
Oh, I mean, I've been following the Mario Golf release review cycle, and it's all right from what I've heard, but it's nothing amazing. And whereas you could probably play Everybody's Golf, which is a little bit more feature depth. Probably just a little bit more fun based on what I've heard. That's PlayStation exclusive though on PlayStation 4.
It looks good.
Minty believes the correct answer is not to take an interest in golf.
Yeah, well, in real life I don't. Like, I'm a big sports person in actual life, but I hate golf as a sport. But I actually don't like sport video games, but I like golf video games. It's weird, but yeah, Everybody's Golf, probably played about 100 hours of that, so play that instead.
Reckon we should set up like a match between Nico, probably Dan, and Grumpy in the golf, because Dan plays a bit of the golf online, doesn't he? I know Nico was playing the PGA games for a while there.
Everybody's Golf also has a VR game, so if you ever need something that's the biggest revolution in gaming in the last few years, play Everybody's Golf VR.
I'll tell you what is pretty impressive is Gran Turismo in VR.
Ooh.
I did that at, I want to say E3 the last year Sony were there. Like with a full sim racing rig and all that sort of stuff, and it was really, really impressive.
How's the what's the word for it? The reproduction into VR versus playing it on console, or just playing it
obviously
standard?
it's not 4K, but considering how fast you're going, I thought it was pretty damn impressive.
Yeah, I remember when Drive Club had a VR mode. People liked that a bit as well. Obviously, it made a fair amount of people sick though, given motion sickness and such. But yeah, I have heard decent things about GT Sports. It's GT Sports, I think, their VR mode.
We sat my she was 81 at the time. We sat my nonna in her living room and plugged her into the PlayStation VR and stuck her in a shark tank. And she didn't know what's coming. And she's in there and she's doing the swimming, like she was that into it. She's doing the swimming motions with her hands. We're losing our shit laughing. And then this shark came out of nowhere and hit the cage and she shat herself. Oh, God bless VR and old people. The thing that interests me about, and I suppose you'll get this for like playing it in VR, but the thing that interests me about Super Mario Golf is just being able to recreate the swing. Like, that's the thing that I really want. I want to play a golf game where I can stand there. And I know, the obvious answer is, why don't you just bloody get out there and go and play golf, you dickhead? But I want to play where I'm swinging.
No, the obvious answer. The obvious answer is, why don't you go get a Wii again and play Wii Sports?
Well, I've still got it. Still got me Wii.
I reckon Wii Sports must have been my most played game on the Wii, just because people would come around, you'd have a few drinks, and you'd do like just crappy golf or the bowling, or if you're feeling particularly energetic, you might do the boxing.
The baseball was pretty fun too, to be honest.
It was all really good. It's weird. You have like this entire game console with system with one game that anybody wants to play.
Yeah.
Tennis was funny when you worked out that to do an ultimate smash, all you need to do was just flick your wrist twice.
Yeah.
Yeah, just bang, bang, like that. The thing that shits me to this day about the Wii is how they stung you for tech that they had obviously planned as an add-on at some point down the track, which was the Wii Motion Plus. You know what I mean? It was like, here's the Wii, it does all this amazing stuff, but we're going to hold off on the replicating your body's movement by around about 30% and make you pay an extra $40 for this giant little cube that sits on the bottom of your bloody controller now. Here, cop that.
Sounds like a Nintendo move, to be honest.
I still have my Wii U as well.
Yeah,
I'm a sucker for Nintendo hardware. I buy every Nintendo piece of hardware that's come out. I'll buy it. Like, I'm an absolute sucker for it. I see it in your background there, straight. And I like that. I didn't play a lot of stuff on the Wii U. I played Zelda games, and that was pretty much it. And I think I played. There it is. Look at that. Yeah, I had the black version. And I played. What was it? What was that? It was Zombie U.
That was a good concept.
Yeah. Right, you'd be holding that bloody thing like this. Oh, God. Like such an idiot.
Yeah, my favourite thing was that people referred to like the actual tablet as just like, as being, they called it like the Fisher Price tablet. Look at the dust on there. Hold up, and replicates underneath.
Yep. Hello, I know NATO. Or is it I known ATO? I know NATO.
I know NATO.
I know NATO.
I also am familiar with the North Atlantic Treaty Organization. And in particular, their role in holding back the members of the Warsaw Pact during the Cold War era.
Yeah, that's right.
Written help into the dust there.
Yeah.
Because the EU needs all the help it can get.
Help or play?
Depends which way you can see it.
Hey, Natty.
I did quite like it's been my problem with the Switch, really, because a bit like you, Grumpy, I was one of the half a dozen people that probably bought the Wii U. And like games like Super Mario 3D World and there was a whole heap like Splatoon and they just Mario Kart. The Mario Kart we got at the moment is Mario Kart Wii with a proper battle mode tacked on. Yeah, and I had that problem, and I absolutely love the Captain Toad series of games. They're just a nice, chill little puzzle game, and like that just got a I remember buying it thinking, oh yeah, this is a new game, and then I just plowed through it and realized halfway through that no, I've played these levels before.
What probably brought a lot of girls to gaming, Natty. Batman Arkham City Armored Edition for Wii U was really good according to Blue Streak. I got so excited that we had a FIFA game on the Nintendo Wii, and it was FIFA World Cup. And it turned out to be it turned out to be like 15% of a FIFA game. It was such a watered down version of FIFA that I snapped the disc.
Wow.
I was that upset. It was disgusting.
Yeah, it's what they do now with the legacy editions on the Switch. It's just like the multiple years prior's version of FIFA. They just update the rosters and repackage it basically.
Yeah, Gamma's right. The WWE games on the Wii were watered down as well. The best WWE games that ever came out, still for mine, exist on the Nintendo 64. And I know you've got a lot more range in terms of the stuff that you can do with one of those games now these days, with a 2K, but they just played so incredibly well. And I think the roster of players that you had, WCW, NWO, Revenge, absolutely Gam, one of my all-time favourites, an absolute ripper of a game. But they were just so incredibly well built. They were simple. They gave you everything that you wanted as a wrestling fan. And then when I think it was Attitude, was it Attitude or was it? I think it was WrestleMania 2000. I'm trying to remember which one started to bring in the customizable entrances and all of that sort of stuff. It might have been WrestleMania 2000. That's when it got really exciting because you could build your own shit. You could put your own theme music to things and so on and so forth. They were good fun.
But those sort of iterations of sporting games, particularly like FIFA's particularly bad, but you know the ones like Madden and all that, because that was sort of part of what Captain Avari was talking about earlier with his question. It was just like they get a new release every year, and it's the same game with different players. It's or updated rosters, and it's I don't know. Like I've never been able to get into those games, especially with stuff like that, where all that stuff could probably be DLC.
I think that was Dan's classic one-liner a month ago or so, wasn't it? That it's the same fucking game.
Yeah.
Pro Evolution Soccer, 1 year to the next.
Yeah, and Huzzy, you're right. It's the same thing with like the Call of Duties, and like they release one every year, and like it's almost the same game for someone that doesn't play shooter games. It's it just feels the same.
It's the same.
Yeah. You get out there and you shoot
I think the
things.
sports games especially are just the same thing. I feel like Call of Duty is largely the same. Some years they have greater strides than others. But sports games are literally like I don't think I've bought a FIFA since probably 2010.
Wow.
Because I just have it. Not that I've played it since. I just don't I don't find the need or the desire to ever really play a FIFA game.
I kind of wonder if maybe that's part of their marketing plan. I'm just throwing random ideas out here. But maybe they're expecting people who bought, say, FIFA 20 aren't going to buy FIFA 21, but the people who last bought FIFA 18 might. And I figure I mean, those things sell by the giant, cargo plane load. So they probably figure if they only sell a third of what they do of a big release, fine, it's still going to make them infinite dollars.
Quick one for you before we say night. Have any of you guys been to Seattle?
I have.
No.
Is it just generally cold a lot in Seattle?
Look, I was apparently there for like the 4 days in the entire year that it wasn't raining, but I thought it was pretty pleasant. It wasn't especially cold, wasn't especially hot. It was just nice.
So apparently Seattle got so hot yesterday that Bungie shut its doors early.
Wow.
Can you guess what the temperature was?
Well, British Columbia up in Canada was reporting temperatures around 48, 49, I think, and that is not somewhere I associate with, Cuba PD levels of dying from heat stroke level heat, but here we are.
So you want to lock in 48, 49?
Yeah.
All right. Straight?
No, I'm going to go with 33 because I don't think they can handle the heat up there.
All right, Grumpy, go on, hit me.
I'm gonna go higher. I'm gonna hit you with like the marble bar, like 51.
Okay. 42 degrees.
Ah.
42 degrees.
That's just a summer day in
Right.
Perth, mate. Nothing to worry about. You
Pussies.
stand out in the middle of the cricket pitch and you can handle that. It's no worries.
To be fair to our American friends and our Canadian friends, heat is one of those things that if you're not used to it, it's pretty shocking.
Yeah.
I mean, Canadian winters are not fun. You know, it's minus 20 degrees outside. Everybody else is there and saying, "What are you complaining about? It's not that cold."
Yeah, I mean, fucking,
Oh, that's gold. That's the first time I've ever heard you A, do an accent, B, do a Canadian accent. That's amazing. This whole podcast was worth it just for that moment.
we have ascended.
And I've probably just offended the entire population of Canada, so I'd like to apologise in advance for my well-meaning jab at the way you talk, and I'm sorry if any of you feel any offence from how I've talked about your country.
In all honesty, though, like, obviously they don't experience temperatures that hot, and I mean, that's understandable. But I mean, even you can see it here at the moment, even in Perth, like, everyone's freaking out because it's cold. At night, you know,
Because
like,
it's under 10 degrees.
I love it. Oh man, I love this weather. Like I would welcome 10-degree days every day of the year, without a doubt. Like minus 21 in Canada sounds like heaven to me. I would much rather put on layers and layers and layers of clothing than just having to get around in bloody shorts and a singlet because it's too hot.
Yeah, Boulder says warming up is easier than cooling down, and he's absolutely right.
Yeah. On that warm note, shall we knock it on the head for a potty?
I reckon so. Because I want to get into some gaming.
All right. What are you playing tonight, Swatter?
I'm getting in to some... I'll get the word soon. I've forgotten. The Old Republic. Captain Avari is going to join me, and we're going to play some of that.
Wonderful. Yeah, wonderful. All right, guys. Thanks for jumping on tonight.
Anytime.
Been lovely.
Thank you for putting up with me and not grabbing the microphone and going, "No, shut up, stop talking."
Are you kidding, man? I like it. To get through tonight and get what we got towards the end there. Come on.
what accent will we get next time?
Can't wait.
Oh,
need to find out.
then it starts becoming an obligation and not a treat.
Now, children, if you really behave, Uncle Zulu might give us another accent.
Amazing. All right, legends.
All
Chat to you later.
right.
Bye.
Chat.
Goodbye.
Game on, legends!
Yes!
You have found us. You are here. You are watching our shit. Sorry. No, look, if for some ungodly reason you do really love it, click subscribe. It means that you get notifications and stuff when we upload more of this gear. So, yeah. I mean, that's really it.
We have a heap of stuff going up all the time, so
Yeah.
make sure you don't want to miss any of it.
I mean, you know,
don't.
it won't put food on the table. We get that. It's not going to earn you money watching our things. It'll earn us money. We're not even monetized yet.
No, we're not. That's how bad it is.
But, I don't know, mate. Just do us a solid, I guess.
Please.
Cheers.
Cheers.